Hello, I'm R.Bruce, and this is a video to show the gang stalking harassment, targeted individual harassment that I got when I uploaded Reptilian Shapeshifter movies to YouTube starting in early 2013. I live in Los Angeles, California, in a suburb of Los Angeles called Woodland Hills, also in the Calabasas area where I grew up. I'm 46 years old this June. And I grew up in Calabasas at 2100 Stunt Road, Calabasas, California 91302, and have lived in this neighborhood almost all of my life. Now, what happened was when I discovered this topic of reptilian shapeshifters on YouTube, at first I didn't believe it. Then I looked into it more and more, and I thought, well, this is interesting, but I'm not sure if I believe it, or I'm pretty sure I don't believe it. Then I saw a movie on the Frequency Fence channel on YouTube, which gave a rational explanation showing the shape-shifting, showing many things that led me to believe that this might be real. So I went and got the Blu-ray at Fry's, brought it home, recorded it, and then went through it frame by frame in my video editor. And sure enough, I found that she was right. There are features of claws, fangs, ridges, non-human features which simply cannot be explained by any sort of video error of any kind. And you can see the features with just basic common sense. And when I uploaded my first movie in January 2013, immediately, and I'm talking like within 15 minutes, I had 8 helicopters hovering above my apartment. And then following that, I had helicopters buzzing, that is flying low with a lot of noise and vibration, where you could hear it starting out in a low sound, and then the sound would grow and grow and grow until it flew directly overhead of the third-story apartment that I had in Woodland Hills, and with noise and vibration. And this would happen on a regular basis, many times a day. And I think a lot of people noticed it. Some people, I think, even moved out of the building that I was in. This would also happen at night and wake everybody up on occasion, and it would always happen usually around 12 a.m. And one feature of this gang stalking aircraft harassment is that they like to do it at certain times to make sure that you know it is them on Ripley's Believe It or Not. Now, this has a lot of questions, and a lot of people have reasonable questions, and they say, well, are you sure this isn't your imagination, or, have you checked the flight paths or complained to police? Let me just go through a few of these reasonable questions that are put out there, because these are reasonable questions, and this is a very weird thing. By the way, I'd never experienced anything like this before 2013. I mean, this was like, I just was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me. And furthermore, like I said, I've been living in this town in the San Fernando Valley, West San Fernando Valley, West Hills, Woodland Hills, Calabasas area all my life. So I'm used to the aircraft and whatnot that you have in this area. Furthermore, as I also, you'll see at my channel, I had LAPD squad cars not pulling me over, but lighting up their sirens like to scare me. They would light up and then zoom around me or pull over people behind me, and or just pull out in front of me, to the extent that I bought a dash camera. And when I got enough footage that shows that it was happening, I had a consecutive police vehicles pulling in front of me one after the other. I uploaded it to YouTube along with some reptilian shapeshifter footage, and it immediately stopped that problem almost completely. I had a few other incidences, and occasionally I'll get some, but nothing like what I get with the continuous aircraft gang stalking harassment, which is very hard to believe. I realize for anybody seeing this, I wouldn't believe it either unless I really could see it firsthand. And that's another question that I need to address, is why can't I get anybody to confirm this? And that as well it kind of fits in with the whole weirdness of this thing, okay? It's an X-file. But what I hope to convey is that I'm not crazy. This isn't like something where you imagined it and then it snowballed into this emotional situation, and then I just started seeing it everywhere, and then I just started recording every aircraft that flew over, because there's a lot of I know I've lived in this town, there's a lot of aircraft. But what I can tell you is not even the slightest possibility. I mean, if you were to say, come on, isn't there just the offest possibility that you might be wrong? I mean, surely you have enough emotional fortitude to just admit maybe you might be wrong about this. What I got to tell you, who's watching this, is that there is zero, by the way, this isn't the satanic symbol, okay, for all you paranoid folks, zero chance that it is a illusion, or this isn't really happening the way I'm telling you it's happening. And by the way, I'm not the only one. Look up gang stalking, okay? This happens. They do it to people. In fact, this guy that I just recently talked to had it going on for 10 years, and now he's talking with aliens, and I personally think they're demons, but whatever. But he was so and he's so intimidated by this, even now, even though he says he has the protection of these extraterrestrials, other extraterrestrials that are trying to help him, but he's still so intimidated by it that he's a shut-in. He stays in his house. His wife works and he stays home all the time. Because I asked him, I said, do you want to do an interview? You want to go out? Well, maybe we can hang out with our camcorders and catch some of this. But he's so intimidated, he won't even go outside. And then furthermore, he got offended by the video that I made talking that, can he question them? Do they know about Jesus Christ and heaven and hell when you die? Because he said things like, they told him there are no reptilians. Yeah, right. Okay, so let's get on to the questions. Okay, so how can you be 100% sure this is not just unrelated aircraft flying overhead? Answer, mainly because of the timing. This is answer number one. Mainly because of the timing, the fact that the flyovers occur at specific times, especially on arriving someplace or leaving someplace is when they like to do it. And also, believe it or not, and I hadn't wrote this down as one of the answers, but I want to tell you right here that the mind reading technology is real, guys. This exists. People need to wake up to the fact that they have technology that we can't believe exists because they're not telling us. And they're not telling us for a very good reason, because they know if we know about them, we're going to eventually dig up the truth and find these non-humans and put them down, or at least get control over it, because we're more numerous than they are. And I've heard several accounts of even these extraterrestrials or aliens in the account that's told by Donald Marshall in his 2016 interview, says that he saw one of the aliens come out and chew out Tina Tequila or whatever. Tequila, whatever her name is, that rock star. Anyway, one of these aliens came out and chewed her out, and he said, you must not talk about us. They will eradicate us. And so that tells you that they know that if we find out about them, we'll waste them. But they have the advantage now, because the majority of humans don't want to wake up. They want to be in their sleepy little worlds and not, if I hadn't had something really dark happen to me where I started searching for dark truth, I wouldn't have found any of this. So most people don't want to hear it, don't want to wake up. A lot of people, in fact, almost everybody that I've talked to about this, eventually just kind of, or even mention it or talk to them about it, don't want to hear from me ever again. Okay, that's the truth. People that I talk to locally, people I talk with over the phone, don't want to hear any more about it. They're just shut down. Total don't want to hear it. Except for people that are, are experiencers and know that this stuff is real. Second answer, it is fully obvious as I have lived in this same area all my life. So like I said, I'm 45, I'll be 46 in June. I've lived here all my life in Los Angeles, California, in the West San Fernando Valley. I know what aircraft go by, and I'm familiar with it, and nothing like this has ever occurred. Answer number three, in many recorded incidences, you can see pilots looking directly at me where I would not be an outstanding figure on the ground. So in other words, I noticed that when I zoom in on the camera footage that I take of the helicopters later, I'm either standing with some other people or not in a situation where I would be an obvious figure on the ground. Furthermore, I even in this, I'll try and show it right here, is that in this Starbucks capture that I recently got, and I've got others like it, but I'm sitting inside the Starbucks, and this LAPD helicopter is circling around and around and around, and you can see the pilots really looking at me, all three. There's one guy in the back and two pilots in the front, and they are looking right at me, and you can definitely see. And how would they identify me sitting inside, which would be a lot harder to see and notice that somebody was sitting in there filming them with a video camera. And plus, I'm sure a lot of people film helicopters with video cameras. Okay. Answer number 4. Many captures prove they are circling me while looking at me. So, as for instance, in my pre-part to the movie The Dragons of Blade Runner that I made, showing the shape-shifting in that movie, you can see them clearly circling around my apartment in Woodland Hills for like 15 minutes, and you can really see the pilots looking at me. Plus, that's also where I caught the metallic orbs. And I'm going to get to the next thing, which is that answer number 5. I have 4 or more captures of UFO orbs, one clearly showing the silver chrome metal. That was in the New Year's Day 2014 when they were circling around my apartment for about 15 minutes. And the rest of the orbs appear white that I've gotten, and on several other occasions. And apparently hovering or flying around Los Angeles Police Department helicopters that I've captured, and other vehicles, other unmarked helicopters. Okay, next question. How come you are the only one to see it? Good question. I'll tell you straightforwardly, I have no family and I have no friends that can join me to do this. Okay, they can't join me and like hang out for a few weeks, or I can't stay at their house for a few months while we record this and they could see it. I am basically estranged from my family, and the friends that I grew up in high school, we all drifted apart, and I'm here by myself. And I do consider myself a friendly person. I am willing to make friends with people, but I believe, and I'm getting to this next part of the answer, which is that God has given me to be solitary during this time. And I believe that He's given me and many others to be solitary as part of our walk in faith. And I realize if you don't share my faith, you don't believe any of that could be true. Well, what I can say is that that is my answer to part of why I am by myself and I can't get somebody to join me. And then also, even if I had the money to pay somebody, like say I could pay somebody for a couple of weeks for them to hang out with me with video cameras and get all this, I think that they would hold out because they're very crafty, very smart about this, and they would know that there's somebody with me and we got our video cameras, and I think that they would wait it out. But I think the situation is such that if I could get a bunch of, like, let's say I could get 3 or more people and we could all just hang out together with video cameras and shoot this, I think that it would stop the same way the LAPD squad cars lighting up their sirens and whatnot behind me stopped when I uploaded the proof of it to YouTube. They're very careful about this, and they also, another thing to include about this is that, I know this seems rather convenient as all part of my crazy sci-fi story here, okay? But this is reality. They're very crafty about it. They know just when to do it. They time it just right. In fact, as I mentioned in my last video, I can only get about half of the times that they buzz me because it's either at night when I don't have a video camera that has any backlit sensor, so it's just, you can't see a bloody thing except a bunch of blurs and lights usually, and I still record a few of them just to show that they get me at night, but it's hard to see or prove anything, so it doesn't make for a good upload for people to objectively look at it and say, okay, this is a buzz, or no, it's not just some dude flying over, and they do fly over all the time, right? So everybody experiences this, and especially in Los Angeles, there's aircraft constantly flying overhead, so it doesn't make any sense. But that's another answer to the question. And then next question is, have I reported this to the police or checked the flight paths of the aircraft in question? No, I have not reported it, and I thought maybe I should, but my feeling is that this will not be fruitful. And because I have plenty of time to sit around and think about this, and I thought many times, okay, I should fill out the full report, go down to the police station and fill it out. But with the attention that they're paying to me with this and everything else that's going on, basically what I think is they've got their bases covered, okay? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should go down there and fill one out. But my feeling is that, if they're even going to go to these lengths to try to make the person's life a living hell. That's what they do with this TI, targeted individual gang stalking harassment thing. They just keep it up and keep it up and keep it up and make your life nothing like what it was before, so that you know, this will be a lesson to others and will keep down and subdue. And as another gentleman who says that, by the way, this is an AI, this other gentleman, I'm going to put that video up actually, it's pretty jolly good. It's the second part of this, and the first part's missing for whatever reason, but the guy has a degree and he puts together a good video, and he talks about how he believes that it's actually an AI hooked up to the targeted individual. So it's not actually someone at the helm consciously doing this all the time. They have a robot which actually tracks your movements and knows just when to buzz you. It records all of your habits, and then it you know, they do whatever they do with the personality profile that they have on you for what they think is going to be the best and what they can get away with. And they just keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Doesn't matter what logic it works or whatnot. The only reason that they'll stop or hold back is if the proof that somebody might be providing for the public to see is so irrefutable that it's just absolutely beyond measure, which, if they had kept up with the ground patrol cars on me, would have been. Okay. And then, how about suing? I thought about that, and I actually talked to the chrononaut time traveler Andrew Bashagio about it through email. And basically, I was going to ask him if he might take up the case, because he was one person I know that could believe me about it. But he, first of all, lives in Washington State, and I live in California, so he can't. You have to have a lawyer that's in your state, and then he referred a couple of law firms, and also suggested that I contact Aaron Brockovich. I haven't done that, but I did contact the two law firms that he mentioned. I told them about my case and never heard from them again. And I recontacted them and couldn't get them to talk to me. Basically, they're not even going to touch it. And some of the people that I talked to about this, some witnesses that I saw, said that if you try to sue somebody over this, they won't even touch it for the most part. But if anybody, again, if anybody knows a lawyer, I'll give them a generous cut of the case if they can get a lawyer on this case and we win. And as I've said before, I think that there's enough evidence that any reasonable jury would look at it and say, at least there's a fair chance there's something going on here, especially with the clarity and competence that the witness is giving, that is me, testimony of what is going on, plus the video. There's just, you know, there's just hours and hours of video on this that's been going on now for over 3 years. Okay, and also because I think that, as I've mentioned in another video, I think that all lawyers are essentially bound to Satan. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to get their license to practice law. Now, and that's just a guess. I don't know. Maybe there is a lawyer that would take on this case. But another thing too is that if they don't have the protection of Jesus Christ like I do, because they sent several people to kill me, including the actor Paul Walker and his serpent friend, who crashed into the only gas line in the area, which I equated. God revealed into my mind that Psalm 27:2 says, "When my enemies and my foes came to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell." Notice, eat up my flesh. Not talking about cannibals, okay? Talking about beasts. The beasts of the field, that's the code for these non-humans that are intelligent and eat people. The serpents eat people. God said to Adam God said that Adam was made out of the dust, and then he tells the serpent that he's cursed above all the beasts of the field, because on his belly he will go, live covertly, and dust shall he eat all of his days. Dust meaning man. And the scripture also says that the serpents will continue to eat man for the next 1,000 years, which is the 1,000-year reign of Christ, coming up shortly. And on that note, finishing up, knowing, the other reason that I don't sue is because I have a knowing that God will bring all justice to pass, and I will, in the meantime, give my testimony about this for anybody who will hear. Notice the trajectory right overhead. perfect overhead. How about that, guys? And right as I enter the Starbucks, you get a buzz starting up. They didn't like me talking to this one guy here. See this son of a bitch right here? Black and white police helicopter. Let's see if we can get a fuller shot of him. Yeah, there he goes. Another chopper right as I come home. Whoa, look at that bird. See, when I thought about talking to him again, then you get this guy here coming right up. See, it's the same one.
The national toll per year is in the thousands every year. Kids die violently because of this.
The kind of individuals involved are down the line, almost in every instance in the cases I've investigated, men who are very powerful, usually very wealthy, and usually administrate control over a large number of people.
Now, where there are 1,833 of them that have been living underground between 100 and 200 miles beneath the surface. They've been here, some of them have been here a long, long time. They have lifespans that are thousands of years. They're carnivorous. They're not friendly to mankind, at least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. And they need to be, they won't eat a dead human. It has to be alive at the time of the killing. You know, Westchester County, in the last 5 years, 3,000 children in Westchester County, New York, have vanished without a trace. Where are they going? Why are we allowing this to happen?
Well, I was thinking, before that buzz happened, or what seemed to cause that buzz, is I was thinking that that I was going to tell that guy that I was talking to, Richard, that you know, that he's making a big mistake talking to these beings that are so-called, you know, loving, gentle, light beings. You see, see, there he goes. He's turning around over here. See him? See how he's turning right there? As soon as I lie down to take off my shoes, they do a flyover. You see that, guys? Right as I took off my shoes. You'll notice that too if you get this helicopter gang stalking. They like to get you when they think that they can. Right as I'm thinking about biblical items. A chopper will come out. Watch this. Check out these chemtrails here. There's like a thin layer of clouds, and then that's where you're getting that shadow there. It's kind of interesting, kind of highlights them. I haven't seen that too much. See, they're in the process of making one right here. Look at that shadow underneath it. Haven't seen that as much. It's like really defines the chemtrail. Notice the directly overhead, because I heard them coming a long way off. Direct overhead. In this first clip, you're seeing the dash camera footage of this approaching green and yellow helicopter, which buzzed me right as I arrived at my sleepover parking space. And in this footage, it's so small that, and out, blurry because it's in the way far distance and it's a dash camera, so the quality's not going to be that great, that you certainly can't tell for sure. But the more I looked at it and zoomed in on it, it almost looks like the helicopter appears out of nowhere, but it could also be that the light obscures it because it's also facing some bright clouds. So it could be that it just, either it flew out of the cloud, or it's just that it's more likely that it was just obscured by the light. But the more I looked at it, it does look like, it could have been, or this could be by chance, a hologram that appeared at that point, and with a sound and image projected, that's a flyover, that's a hologram. Guys, right as I pulled up, this motherfucker, see that? Green and yellow plug, right as I pulled up. Yeah, they're not happy about me today. Right as I pulled up. Yeah, I have definitely decided that those are holograms, because that last one, that green and yellow one, it was timed right as I pulled up, and in order to pull that off, I mean, it would be it would be difficult. I mean, maybe they can do it. I don't know. It just seems like that would be also a lot of money to spend, you know, on helicopter fuel and so forth. Plus, they do it so often that it seems to me as though they could be holograms. Yeah, I'm getting buzzed right now. They don't want me talking to you. See, he's got to come over here, see? See, notice he was over there. That's a different one, yellow stripe. Here comes a buzz. They could hear me thinking that I'm going to do something about the reptilians because I was just reading Susan Reed's book. And sure enough, here comes a holographic, probably maybe it's an alien ship that they disguise with the helicopter. See, here's this guy right here. Guys, what you got to realize is this is not humans behind this, guys. These are not human beings, or if they are, they're taken over. You see this? You see this, guys? Can you believe they're using Los Angeles Fire Department helicopters to gang stalk harass me? You betcha. And as I approach the entrance to Starbucks, you can hear the helicopters starting up. That's right, your taxpayer dollars for LAPD helicopters to buzz me for uploading Reptilian Shapeshifter movies. There he goes. Oh, it's a Los Angeles Fire Department helicopter. How's it going? All right. Here he comes. As you can see here, I'm parked on this knoll. There he comes around the freeway. See, I had a feeling he was going to buzz. How you doing, fellas? Nice use of taxpayer money, huh? They're harassing innocent man. Yeah. Yeah, you betcha I'm gonna film it. You can do it for YouTube. And as I approach the vehicle, you can hear the helicopter starting up, as you can see. And here he is right here to apply some harassment for me. See, they're using airplanes a lot now because they're starting to realize that the helicopters are high exposure. As I'll approach the door, he comes directly overhead. You see that? And you also notice he cut out the engine. You can hear the reduction of the engine. He went so you could slow down a bit as he goes directly over. Here I speed it up so you can see that he circles around before he flies directly overhead. There he comes, coming for another pass. I was going to pass right overhead again. Directly overhead. Direct overhead. I get a lot of these night flyovers, but since they don't show up on the video, I don't include them too much. But I do get a lot of them, and also the ones at 12 midnight. And they also recently got me with one of those beams that gives me the spasm in my leg really bad. And it's real. It's not imagined.
And if Washington doesn't have enough to talk about these days, the Washington Times reported today that unidentified White House aides in the Carter, Reagan, and Bush administrations now are being investigated for using the services of a call boy ring. The paper reports that 2 of the male prostitutes were given a late-night tour of the White House last year.
They're carnivorous. They're not friendly to mankind, at least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. They're responsible for 31,712 children disappearing in the last 25 years from the United States. These children were food. And I'm supposed to just shut up and not say anything about it? You know, Westchester County, in the last 5 years, 3,000 children in Westchester County, New York, have vanished without a trace. Where are they going? Why are we allowing this to happen? These children were food. These children were food.
See, it's actually a hologram, guys. They can't get one out fast enough.
They're carnivorous. They're not friendly to mankind, at least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. They're responsible for 31,712 children disappearing in the last 25 years from the United States. These children were food.